The smartest people I know are often convinced they're completely average. They don't feel like geniuses, they feel like outcasts. It's a phenomenon called the reverse Dunning-Kruger effect, and it's the heavy price of a high IQ. If you spent your life feeling like you're not enough or perhaps too much for others to handle, you might actually be part of an elite that is hiding in plain sight. Intelligence isn't just a gift. It's a burden of constant analysis, social exhaustion, and invisible connections. In this video, we're going to peel back the curtain on 10 secret habits of high IQ individuals. If you recognize yourself in even 3 of these, your brain isn't just different, it's wired for a reality most people can't even perceive. As we dive in, you'll start to recognize patterns in yourself that you've ignored your entire life. Pay close attention, because number 7 will completely change how you see yourself. And the final habit is the ultimate art of social camouflage, the secret that allows true geniuses to never be detected. Everything you think you know about intellect is about to be flipped upside down. We're starting right now. The first habit is often the one that makes you the most unpopular, the refusal to accept the obvious. For most people, a rule or a tradition is an end in itself. For you, it's just a proposition that needs to be proven. Where others see a wall, you look for the crack. This isn't arrogance. It's a form of mental survival. When you're told this is the procedure, your brain goes on red alert. You aren't looking to contradict for the sake of it. You're searching for the logical flaw because inconsistency is physically unbearable to you. This need to understand the why behind the how is the first sign that your mind refuses to settle for the surface. Second sign, you use silence as a tool, not as a void. In a world that never stops talking, choosing to remain silent has become an act of resistance. Observe yourself in a conversation. While others rush to respond just to feel heard, you are busy processing information. You aren't trying to win the race to speak. You are seeking precision. Your brain is running a simulation in the background, testing your words, anticipating reactions, and you only speak if you can provide a missing piece to the puzzle. If you'd rather be seen as reserved than say something insignificant, it's because you've realized that the value of an idea is measured by its depth, not its volume. Third sign, you live in a world of invisible connections. Where most people see isolated events, you see a system. It's as if you have an automatic translator in your brain that turns chaos into a logical sequence. You often anticipate the end of a sentence, a movie's plot twist, or even a colleague's reaction, not through mystical intuition, but through constant statistical analysis. It's not a gift, it's a sensitivity to the rhythms of the world. And sometimes it's exhausting because once you've learned to see the architecture behind the scenery, you can't stop yourself from seeing the cracks. For patterns, 24 hours, 7 days per 7, that's why they'll say something like, "I knew that was going to happen." And you're like, how? Pattern sensitivity. That's how. And honestly, it can be exhausting for them because once you see the patterns everywhere, you can't unsee them even when you desperately want to just turn your brain off. This pattern sensitivity isn't just passive, it's active. Which leads us to habit 4, they can't help but fix things. Habit 4, they love solving problems nobody asked them to solve. You know that person who sees a messy process and immediately thinks, "I could automate this." Yeah, that's them. Here you see a routine. They see a bug that needs fixing. For a high IQ individual, inefficiency isn't just annoying, it's an irresistible puzzle. They optimize, automate, and create shortcuts for problems that no one else even noticed. Why? Because for them, problem solving isn't a chore. It's a cognitive video game. But be careful, there's a catch. This mental clarity often leads to immense frustration. Imagine seeing the obvious solution to a complex problem while everyone else is still searching in the dark. What is crystal clear to them remains completely invisible to everyone else. Habit number 5, they practice mental cross-training. A high IQ individual doesn't read to finish a book. They read to hack a mental model. That's why their library looks like organized chaos. Philosophy on Monday, neuroscience on Tuesday, coding on Wednesday. This isn't a lack of focus, it's cross-training for the brain. They aren't trying to become experts in everything. They're collecting frameworks. By feeding on this extreme variety, They learn to see the world from 10 different angles, while most people only see one. To them, a book isn't just a story, it's a new tool for their mental toolbox. Then blend those perspectives into something new. Let's continue with habit 6. You don't think in circles, you think in branching dimensions. While most people replay the same worry over and over, you are mapping out the consequences. For every decision, your mind launches a series of high-speed simulations. You aren't just looking at the next move, you're anticipating the ripple effect of your actions months down the line. What others call overthinking is actually strategic depth. You only take action once you have already mentally survived every possible crisis scenario. We've finally reached habit number 7, the power of silence. Most people hate silence. It's uncomfortable because it forces you to be alone with your thoughts, and for many, that's terrifying. But high IQ people crave it. That silence is the workshop where their brain organizes chaos. It's where insights come from those aha moments born in the quiet. They're not being antisocial, they're processing. In a world screaming for attention, their ability to sit still is their secret weapon. A lot of us. But high IQ people, they crave it. That silence is where their brain organizes chaos. It's where insights come from. Those aha moments that seem to come out of nowhere. Yeah, they were born in silence. They're not being antisocial. They're not ignoring you. They're processing. And that quiet time is sacred to them. In a world that's constantly screaming for attention, their ability to sit still and think is their secret weapon. It's where clarity lives. 8th sign, day you don't manage your schedule, you protect your cognitive bandwidth. You've realized that while time is infinite, your mental energy is a finite reservoir. This is why you never force productivity against your own biological rhythm. You know exactly when your brain shifts into high-frequency mode for complex tasks and when it needs silence to settle. By syncing your efforts with your energy peaks rather than the hands of a clock, you accomplish in 2 hours what takes others an entire. Habit 9, you perform autopsies on your own failures. To a high IQ individual, a mistake isn't an ego wound, it's raw data. You refuse to blame luck or circumstances, and if a project fails, your first instinct is to dissect your own logic to find the internal bug. This level of self-accountability can seem intense, even cold to those around you. But you know something others don't. Lying to yourself is the ultimate waste of intellect. You prefer the truth that stings over the illusion that comforts. Finally, the most fascinating habit, the one that allows you to move through the world without being detected: camouflage. True geniuses don't shout their intelligence from the rooftops. Instead, they have learned to simplify extreme complexity. If you possess the rare ability to translate an abstract idea into a simple image so that everyone can understand, you possess the ultimate form of intellect. Arrogance uses jargon to exclude. Intelligence uses clarity to include. If you have often felt abnormal and learned to wear a mask of normalcy just to make others feel at ease, know that this is not a betrayal of yourself. It is proof that your emotional intelligence has caught up with your analytical power. You don't hide because you are inferior. You simplify because you have mastered it. So if you recognize yourself in even just a few of these traits, don't underestimate them. You don't need awards or degrees to be smart. Your habits already reveal it. The real question isn't whether you are intelligent, but how you make the best use of that intelligence. Which habit resonated with you the most? Drop the number in the comments. Let's see how many of us are secretly geniuses just trying to act normal. We leave you with one final thought. If you recognize yourself in these points, you've probably spent your entire life trying to fix yourself. Now that you know these are actually strengths, ask yourself this: what other part of your personality that you currently hate is, in reality, your greatest advantage? The answer might lie in your childhood, and that is exactly what we will explore very soon.